Tonight on KTAB News Weekend Hour, Mercedes Hernandez tells us about 3D bow hunting, and no, it's not what you might expect. She's going to explain that all for us. And when you're done hunting game, why not hunt some eggs? Lots of Easter egg hunts. We're going to highlight a few of those this Easter weekend. Plus, in our good news report tonight, a new kind of therapy to help those who are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. We're going to have all of those details. That's a look at some of your top headlines tonight. KTAB News Weekend starts in 60 seconds with your forecast first.
All arrows were aimed toward fun today in this 3D shoot.
Now, from your weather authority, your KTAB forecast first.
Well, good evening, everyone. Warm and windy are the 2 days, or the 2 words for today. Are those going to continue tomorrow? Absolutely. There you see what we have on tap. 62 to start your morning off. Winds will be from the south at 15 to 20 miles per hour. By noontime, 75 degrees, and then we will hit 89 degrees by late afternoon. Unseasonably warm temperatures to look forward to, but chances of rain coming up. More on the forecast coming up after a while, but KTAB News at 10 starts now.
With coverage you can count on, this is KTAB News Weekend.
Good evening, I'm Nathan Grieve. Thanks for joining us, and Clemente, thank you for that rain in the forecast. Well, Abilene archers reached a high point today, venturing out to the Abilene Bow Hunters Association's 3D shoot. Now, KTAB's Mercedes Hernandez went to the range to learn more about the sport, and she brings us our top story tonight.
All arrows were aimed toward fun today in this 3D shoot. So, what is that?
It's a 30 target course. There's 12, 10, 8, 5, and 0 points, depending on if you miss a target or hit the target and where you hit it.
Also, you don't need special glasses to see the course.
You're shooting at 3D animals, which represent animals that you would be hunting in the wild if you are a hunter.
For some, it's a way to brush up on skills while out of hunting season.
Kind of helps us stay sharp during the off season.
And for others, they have their sights on winning titles.
It's just the competition of archery and being able to go out and do something that we just love and that we're passionate about.
But really, it's a sport for everyone.
Mom, dad, daughter, son, everyone can come out and shoot the same course and have fun instead of having, parents having to watch the kids or kids having to watch the parents, stuff like that. Everybody can participate.
So if you're wondering whether or not you can bear a bow,
so long as you've got enough strength to move your arms in this direction and kind of aim an arrow, you can do archery.
Plus,
So much more fun than golf.
in Buffalo Gap with coverage you can count on, Mercedes Hernandez, KTAB News.
Thank you, Mercedes. Definitely good to clear up what a 3D shoot is. No glasses required, and that's going to continue through Sunday now. Info on future shoots can be found by following the Abilene Bow Hunters Association's Facebook page. Well, keeping an eye on Abilene for you this weekend, we're going to stick with hunting at the Mall of Abilene this morning in search of, well, you guessed it, it's Easter weekend, eggs, hunting for eggs. Mall employees hiding 1,000 eggs around the courtyard. That's in front of the women's Dillards, all ahead of the early morning hunt, and dozens of families all coming out to take part in the early Easter celebration. And looky there, Easter Bunny Chick-fil-A cow also in attendance. Chick-fil-A actually opened up a little bit early today for all of those little hunters with some breakfast minis, especially served up for the egg hunt. And that wasn't the only egg hunt in town today. There were plenty of them, but here's a big one. 25,000 eggs spread across Lee Athletic Complex, 2 pieces of candy each inside, so that means 50,000 pieces of candy given to kids in the community. Ages range from 1 to 12. Now, we were able to catch some of the action at this early evening hunt.
What do you like about Easter?
I like about Easter Bunny when the Easter Bunny give me eggs.
It brightens our staff. We get to see the smiles, and that's what we kind of do at Parks and Recreation. We bring smiles to people's faces, and that's just another event that we do that enables us to see those smiles.
Now, that event has been growing in popularity, and Parks and Recreation Department says that they may increase to 30 to 35,000 eggs next year. That's a lot of candy. Well, the Abilene Chamber of Commerce sitting down to discuss an upcoming project. That project is the Cedar Creek Park Waterway. Now, that's the connection between Lake Kirby, Lake Fort Phantom. Plans still are in their infancy, but there is one ambitious plan that they have to set up something similar to the San Antonio Riverwalk in Abilene. And while it has taken some time to make all of the progress they've made so far, board members say now that they have a game plan, things are going to be a whole lot easier.
It's taken us 10 years to get to this point, and it wasn't easy. But now we've got a plan, and you always get more accomplished when you got a plan. You know, it's going to pick up the pace. It's not going to happen overnight.
And there are other plans in place that could involve a kayaking park or even a man-made beach. Well, you may have noticed the TSA PreCheck Enrollment Center in Abilene. Now, that was supposed to leave yesterday on Friday, but they have decided to extend their stay just a little bit. Now, that temporary center is the one that allows some frequent flyers to enroll in the program that'll streamline the check-in process in airports. That's going to be in town now until Friday, the 26th. Well, here's something that we first brought you yesterday, but it's a lot of fun and it's some cool video to boot. That is fishing at the Grover Nelson Park. That's next to the Abilene Zoo in East Abilene, where Texas Parks and Wildlife crews stocked the pond. They filled it with about 200 catfish yesterday. It's part of the neighborhood fishing program. They stock lakes and ponds across the state and let families come together to get a whole new generation interested in fishing. Now, here's that really cool video we talked about. This is where all those fish come from. It's the hatchery at Possum Kingdom Lake. Some catfish there, striped bass. They're all born and raised right here in those tanks. Now, the crew says they're playing a big role in nature by giving it a helping hand to help keep those number of fish high to offset some lower reproduction rates.
We're here for people to have fun outside. We stock the fish for the people of the state to go out and catch.
Now, they stock between 1.5 to 2 million striped bass fingerlings, about 70,000 catfish a year. Now, some of those are the ones that made their way to Abilene just yesterday. Well, looking now at crime, a truck driver shot and killed in Mitchell County on Interstate 20. This was between mile markers 201, 203 on eastbound I-20. Napal Pantananuyurak was killed on the side of the road. Now, the man accused of the murder is 20-year-old Brandon Christopher Madrid of Odessa. He is in the Mitchell County Jail charged with murder. He's also charged with assault with a deadly weapon and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Bonds total $700,000 there. Well, Dyess Air Force Base made a special delivery bringing a gift to the Cisco Fire Department and Greg Simmons Airport. That was on Friday.
About 3 months later, we went to Afghanistan, and we used that the training that we got here in Afghanistan. So as a token of our appreciation, we flew flags for you guys.
Again, that was Friday. Airmen flying into Cisco to present both the fire department and the airport with a flag that was flown in Afghanistan and a canvas of the flags flying above a C-130 when the airmen returned home. Now, these gifts presented to both of them for their assistance in training the Dyess Airmen just a year ago for a mission in Afghanistan.
You know, being a veteran myself, you know, I appreciate what they do, and then thinking about us, and they don't really have to, you know.
After the flags were presented, the Dyess Airmen allowed the families to climb onto the C-130 to check out how they work. Well, staying out in the big country in Stanford, things are speeding up a little bit at the library, where a big grant is bringing up big internet upgrades. That's what library workers hope is just the first in a string of some large upgrades. Fiber optic lines are going to be installed, allowing some new high-speed internet, and it's also going to be paid for an entire year. And after that, the library is going to get discounts to make sure that everybody has some fast internet at their disposal.
Most of the computer use is workforce regeneration. You can't get a job at Dollar General or Walmart here in town without applying online, and we've kind of been the hub in town to help with that.
Now, this is just the latest of more than $81,000, more than that actually, in grant money. That's just for the Stanford Library over the past 9 years. Well, a Texas swimmer is suing the maker of a multivitamin that turned out to have a substance in it that's banned in swimming. Madison Cox says she failed a drug test, and that led to a suspension. She blames the nutritional supplement that she thought was clean. Wes Rappaport talked with the swimmer, and he has a response from the company.
When I grew up, Lubbock Swim Club, you had to be 4 to start competing for the team. So the day I turned 4, I started competing for the team, and I've loved it ever since.
Nearly 2 decades later, Madison Cox is a world-class swimmer. The Lubbock native attended UT and set a world record in the 200 individual medley. Then she found out she failed a drug test.
It was confusion beyond belief. I mean, it was, you have the wrong person. This isn't me.
There were trace amounts of trimetazidine, a heart medication, in her system. The drug is banned in swimming and is not approved for use by the Food and Drug Administration. She says it's from a multivitamin made by a Dallas-based company. She took the nutritional supplement to help her iron levels.
I get my blood work done every 6 weeks, so it was a good marker of, okay, I'm getting everything I need, and the vitamin is helping round that out. It was a bad batch, and it kind of kicked me in the butt.
Her team of legal and medical experts fought to reduce her suspension, but not before they say it cost the rising star lucrative sponsorships, prize money, and emotional stress.
I want them to know the damage that they have done to me, to my reputation.
Cooper Concepts issued a statement saying it has since pulled the product and is saddened and disappointed that Cox missed competitions.
It sounds like it's just like, oh, I'm sorry you missed the competition. No, it's like, this is my life. This is my job. This is what I do for a living. This is what I've worked for my entire life.
Now, Cox recently graduated from the University of Texas, finished out her suspension. She's back to training. She's actually currently working on qualifying for the Olympics. Well, coming up, a new way for those with PTSD to recover. We're going to take a look at that new treatment. And as bad weather continues to batter the southern half of America, we're going to take a look at the southeast now, dealing with the aftermath. But first, Clemente here with our forecast.
No bad weather here to report, just hot and windy conditions. In fact, 6 degrees above normal is what we finished today at 85 degrees. 49 overnight low. There you see the rainfall totals as well as sunrise and sunset. Would you believe it's going to be a lot warmer tomorrow? I'll have a complete look at the forecast coming up after the break.
KTAB News Weekend continues.
Strong, deadly storm.
Now from KTAB, this is your Weather Authority forecast.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, a lot of folks planning a lot of Easter activities for tomorrow. Here is your forecast of what we can look forward to. 7 o'clock in the morning, 63 degrees for folks in the big country here. By noontime, it will warm up to about 80 degrees. But look at what the winds are going to be doing. From the southwest, 20 to 25, gusting up to 35 miles per hour. Those windy conditions will continue into the afternoon hours as we are looking for a high of about 89 degrees as we flirt with that 90-degree mark. Headlines for this evening. Here's the way it looks. Unseasonably warm Easter will continue tomorrow. The whole weekend has been that way, even today with those winds gusting from the south-southwest, warming temperatures up, and improving rain chances also to look forward to by late Monday evening into early Tuesday. And then we also have midweek severe storms to talk about, so definitely want to pay attention to KTAB and keep your eye to the sky on Tuesday and Wednesday, because these storms could actually be reaching very severe limits, and we need to be watching and be cognizant of that. Warm weekend starting next weekend, so very nice conditions coming up. All in all, nothing terribly cold to look at. Even across the state of Texas, no clouds to report. Very nice weather picture as we look out into space. Now coming back, just a lot of ground return, nothing to be concerned about here. No precipitation across the big country to even talk about, and that is because we've got no systems working into our area at the present time. 70 degrees out there right now in the city of Abilene. 49 is the dew point. Relative humidity 47%. You recall earlier this evening we had it about in the upper 30s, so it has come up just a little bit, and by Monday evening we're looking for that relative humidity to be way up there and allowing us to be able to see those rain chances. Winds are southerly at 21 miles per hour, a little bit gusty out there. Across all of the big country, temperatures in the 60s and 70s, a little bit cooler off over here towards Snyder at 69, and then Brownwood 68, 69 over here in Goldthwaite, and Comanche reporting the 66. Everywhere else, we look at future temperatures for tomorrow morning. Things we kind of cool to start off, but then look what happens by even 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're already looking at temperatures across all the big country in the 80s, even some 70s down here around Goldthwaite, but look at by 5:30 in the afternoon, it warms up to about 89, 88 degrees, so very warm conditions. Now as we look at wind speed, things are a little bit windy out there, and it'll continue that way into tomorrow. A little bit of a warm and windy day to look forward to, as those wind speeds will be gusting up to about anywhere from the teens to the 20s. To look forward to that. So make sure that you don't blow away tomorrow for your Sunday. Futurecast showing us really nothing in terms of precipitation, but by Monday we mentioned a little bit of cloud cover beginning to work its way through, and that'll bring us some rain chances into the forecast. For Abilene and the big country tonight, 62 here in the city proper. Breezy conditions, a warm evening. Winds will be from the south at 15 to 20, and then for tomorrow it warms up to about 89, gusty southwesterly winds. For you folks in Brownwood, 57 degrees, a generally mild night. South at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and then 85 for tomorrow, with those winds gusting way up there up to 30 miles per hour. There you see your 7-day forecast. The thing that probably is most exciting about that is the rain chances on Tuesday and Wednesday, and those might actually be reaching severe limits. So we want to be very careful, and as I mentioned, keep an eye to the sky those particular days.
And one thing I noticed in the past 4 hours or so, we haven't noticed those chances go up yet, but I imagine there's plenty of time for those to change a little bit.
Just watch tomorrow night. We might be talking about a little bit more rain into the period, extending further into Thursday, so we'll see.
We'll see how dangerous those turn out to be as well. And deadly storms, certainly something we've seen over the past week or so. Now the ones that wreaked havoc throughout the south, now churning their way up north. Now that's the weather that claimed the lives of at least 4 people, including one 8-year-old girl.
That's right. About 180,000 people are without power as the nasty weather lingers through the weekend. Mary Maloney reports.
Strong, deadly storms pounded the southeast.
It was pushing the screens through, and we heard a bang.
In St. Clair County, Alabama, a tree crushed a mother in her mobile home.
We tried to figure out a way to get in there, and couldn't. We kept calling for her, and there was no answer.
The deadly weather spawned tornadoes. Powerful winds ripped the brick off an apartment building onto the cars below.
I'm lost for words. I just woke up and car gone.
Power lines downed.
We heard this loud pop, and when we did, all the lights in the house went out, and then we looked outside and saw the line down.
Trees hurled into houses and cars.
You didn't hear the tree fall down at all.
And relentless rain washed out streets.
100-year flood. This don't happen but about every 100 years.
The severe weather quickly swept into neighborhoods, putting people in danger.
It was real strong. The wind was real strong. Raining real hard. Stuff started blowing around here.
The devastation stretching north. In Franklin, Virginia, heartbreak and hugs after a house is reduced to rubble. As people sift through what the weather left behind, a chest filled with items celebrating Christmas is hauled away days before Easter.
I mean, every April, it gets bad.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
Well, like we said, it's been about a week that we have seen that nasty weather just move from here east and apparently now headed on its way north. It's a pretty rough spring.
Gotta be careful.
Definitely.
Gotta be careful.
Well, still to come on KTAB News Weekend, shades of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory this Easter as people in one city are on the search for a little bit of gold.
And it's NBA playoff time. The San Antonio Spurs taking on the Denver Nuggets in Game 4 of the first round. Dusty has the highlights later in sports.
I feel like the people really need to hear this thought, though. I feel like that's going to be the game changer.
You're just going to be following my hand with your eyes.
In a small, unassuming room in a Washington hotel, a group of people are learning a new technique to help treat post-traumatic stress.
It seems like magic.
KTAB News Weekend continues.
Welcome back. There is a new type of therapy to help with post-traumatic stress as the suicide rate among veterans suffering from PTSD continues to rise in the United States. The technique is called accelerated resolution therapy. It involves using eye movements to desensitize a person to a memory. Kristen Holmes takes a look at how the treatment is not only helping soldiers but also civilians.
You're just going to be following my hand with your eyes.
In a small, unassuming room in a Washington hotel, a group of people are learning a new technique to help treat post-traumatic stress.
It seems like magic, but there's science behind it. It's going to be level.
Accelerated resolution therapy, or ART, uses eye movements to desensitize a person to a memory and requires little or no reliving of potentially painful life events.
Take a nice deep breath.
A person visualizes their memory and the emotions linked to it, then follows the instructions of a therapist, following their hand movements with their eyes, mimicking rapid eye movement, or REM sleep.
When you first start using ART with clients,
Marcia Mandel is a trainer with ART International Training and Research.
the eye movements access a person's natural problem-solving ability. So the person remembers, thinks about their memory. The first time they see their scene, it feels real. But then their brain starts to change it. So typically a person is removed from the memory. It's further away.
Some therapists also say the treatment works beyond PTS, helping with phobias, anxiety, and grief. Jill Stevenson agrees.
Prior to finding the art therapy, I thought that I could just cope with my grief on my own.
Stevenson lost her only son, Army Ranger Ben Kopp, when he was killed by a sniper halfway through his third tour in Afghanistan.
He was 17 when he signed up. It was the fall of his senior year of high school.
Inspired by his great-grandfather's military service during World War II, after 9/11, Kopp was certain the Army was his path. After his death, Stevenson found herself unable to move forward.
I was sweeping my grief under the rug, and I started to look for other means.
She connected with the nonprofit Helping Our American Heroes, or HUA, where she learned about art therapy.
It was like being enlightened, like all of a sudden someone, pulled the shade up in your bedroom. It's like, oh my goodness, it is light out here.
She says it helps her focus on the positive.
A selfless human, a selfless humanitarian. That's what he was. From a very young age, Ben championed the underdog. He was everybody's best friend.
In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes reporting.
Now, for more information on ART, that's the acronym for that Accelerated Response Therapy, or to find a therapist near you, you can visit artherapyinternational.org. Well, Dayton, Ohio is kickstarting Easter weekend with some golden eggs, and people are excited. Wish I could take credit for that pun, but that's what the folks in Dayton gave me to work with. Well, all the folks there lined up for at restaurants for their very first clues. Everyone used to seeing colorful eggs this time of year, but the town's switching it up a little bit. This is actually the third annual Lost in the City Egg Hunt. It started on Thursday, where golden eggs hidden all across downtown Dayton with incredible prizes from local businesses inside. Now, they're a little bit better than candy, depending on where you put candy there. Now, you could win a new car, maybe a family vacation at Disney World. But this weekend, not only about receiving, it's about giving too, as the Egg Hunt is partnering with a local food bank to raise money for 27,000 meals for 6,000 children. Well, it is time for sports. Dusty joins us from the BCH Sports Center. Dusty, I'm an Iowa native, so hockey, well, it's a national pastime up north. Further north than me, though. It finally seems like the state of Texas actually cares about it again.
No, it's for sure, Nate. That's one thing that I think Dallas is finally starting to grasp here. The hype over the last few weeks around the area has been on hockey. Of course, what your native land cares about more than what we do out here, but the Dallas Stars in Game 5 taking on the Nashville Predators, a massive game for them. All the highlights, that's all coming up next in sports. Down, other way.
This is BigCountryHomepage.com Sports with Dusty Baker.
Well, the NBA playoffs are on display this evening in San Antonio. The Spurs with a huge series here, a 2-1 series lead heading into the day, taking on the Denver Nuggets. The Spurs opened up with a huge lead in this one. We go to the first quarter. Marco Belinelli off in the corner here. This kind of defined the entire first quarter. He is just off here, but then LaMarcus Aldridge gets the putback dunk. Spurs up 34-22, but not for long. Third quarter, it's a 1-point game. Jamal Murray to Nikola Jokic with the three. 64-62, Denver takes the lead, and then it's Jokic to Murray who dunks it in here, and all of a sudden, Denver has a 7-point lead. Fourth quarter we go, Spurs down 12. Mason Plumlee to Will Barton, drains the three. Where did this game go? It's 101-86. That would be the dagger. The Spurs fall at home in this one in Game 4, 117-103, and the series is now evened at 2 apiece. On to the NHL playoffs we go. The Dallas Stars and Nashville Predators series knotted up at 2. We go 1-1 game here. Alexander Radulov hits the shot here past Pekka Rinne. It's 2-1. Stars lead. 8 minutes later, it's Radulov yet again. Watch this. He creeps up and gets it past Rinne a second time. It is 3-1 Stars in the lead. Third period, we go 4-2 Stars. Jason Dickinson, this time with an open slap shot, and it gets to the net. That's another goal. The Stars up 5-2, and they take Game 5, 5-3, and they are now just one win away from moving on to the second round. They lead the series 3-2. Well, with Easter coming up, ASU baseball wrapping up their series against Lamar this afternoon at home. ASU eyeing the series win against Lamar despite falling 13-1 yesterday, hoping for a slightly different outcome today. Top of the 6th inning we go. 3-1 ASU, bases juiced, 2 outs. Lamar threatening, but Brennan Lewis gets the crucial ground out to second base. That would end the threat in the frame. 3-1 ASU still leads. Top of the 7th though, runner on third. Cole Gerard there grounds it out to second base. A run scores, and it is 3-2 ASU. Bottom 7, Derek Scott at the plate. Pickoff move. Attempt goes to first base, but the throw is wide and a run comes home, and then Luis Trevino takes full advantage of that. He drives that to the gap in right center field. 2 runners coming to score behind each other. It's Derek Scott and Dalton Dunn. They both score back to back, and ASU holds on to win this one 6-5. They take the series over Lamar. Well, one final word for you tonight before we sign off. While on the topic of baseball, for those of you that are Rangers fans, things may not be as bad as we thought. It is early in the year, but the Rangers entered the day 10-8, a much better record than many, including myself, expected, and they just defeated the Houston Astros as well tonight. They're 3-2 in the series, and tomorrow we will have the highlights and see if the Rangers can pull off 2 series in a row against Houston, and I will break down how they've gotten to this point as well. But until then, have a wonderful Easter Sunday. Your local news is coming up after the break, plus Clemente with a final look at our forecast. That is all coming up straight ahead.
There you have our 7-day forecast, which of course does show us the chances of rain beginning late Monday afternoon into the evening hours, then continuing into Tuesday and Wednesday. A little bit cool, but then things warm back up by Friday afternoon.
Well, definitely good to see that. Good to see that rain, too.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, a quick political reminder, early voting in Taylor County does start this upcoming Monday. It's going to continue through the 13th. That's the following Tuesday. The election is slated for May the 4th, and don't worry, we will remind you again tomorrow as well. And that does it for now. Thank you for joining us tonight.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Good night, and be careful out there.